Here's a microphone check for the live stream. Jeff, are you good? Microphone check for the live stream. Thank you for joining us today. Here comes Robert with his clipboard and.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joe Tyler. I'm the Director and the Fire Chief of the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection, also referred to as CalFire. I want to thank everyone for being here at our 2024 Wildfire Preparedness Week. It's important that we recognize that we meet our mission through partnerships. And it's important as part of those partnerships to recognize several individuals that are going to be speaking here with me today. I want to recognize the United States Forest Service, the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, the California Military Department, the California Conservation Corps, the California Highway Patrol, and one of our distinguished senators, Bill Dodd. This year, CalFire will continue to stress the importance of partnerships and shared responsibilities in creating a fire-resilient California. Firefighting alone is not enough to keep us safe. Californians play a crucial role in both preventing wildfires and preparing for those wildfires to happen. California and the western region are facing more severe wildfires with escalating climate impacts. And it's going to take the unprecedented actions of everyone to reduce these severe wildfire seasons. And we recognize both in 2022, 2023, and so far in 2024 that we have had heavy winter rains and snow that have given us some reprieve from the drought conditions seen in the early years. And it has made the fuels grow and be susceptible to wildfire when they cure and dry out. So far this year, CalFire alone has responded to more than 194,000 emergencies across the state of California. And between all of our agencies, 576 wildfires for 2,574 acres. 105 of those fires were just in this last week alone. And we recognize that we've had an 8.5% reduction in acres burned since last year and a 93.8% reduction in structures burned in the last 2 years. We're investing in technology that you see behind us, technology that you don't see. It plays a big role in wildfire prevention, detection, and reporting every year. As an example, the Alert California wildfire system has more than 1,065 cameras across the state of California and is adding 163 in 2024. And utilizing artificial intelligence, there have been times in which these mountaintop cameras have detected fires before the first 911 caller and reported them to our emergency command centers to be able to dispatch. It's important to recognize that the state of California has invested in aircraft such as the C-130 that is sitting behind me. 7 C-130s have been added to the state fleet. Now, they are aircraft today, but will be air tankers of the future, with hope that we will have the first C-130 flying in late 2024. We have CalFire Firehawk Blackhawk helicopters. 13 of the 16 have arrived. 5 of the 16 will fly 24 hours a day. All 10 of our Blackhawks will fly or be capable of flying 24 hours a day. But it's important to note that it's not just CalFire's helicopters. It is local, state, private partnerships, local government agencies who are also flying those aircraft 24 hours a day. We're in our 3rd year of adding 24 additional exclusive use aircraft to our fleet to be pre-positioned across the state to respond to initial attack fires. And I talked about wildfire fuels reduction. The state has invested over $1 billion just in forest health and wildfire prevention grants alone in these last several years. And the legislature and the administration have invested over $2.8 billion in wildfire prevention and resilience over the last several years as well. In this last year, just over 730 projects have been treated for more than 100,000 acres, and that was just CalFire and its grantees. Our local and federal partners, our tribal partners, are contributing and doing equal to, if not more, as we continue on. We found, working with our tribal nations, that we needed to have a deputy director of tribal affairs, and we have appointed that individual, Helen Lopez, as our newest tribal affairs deputy director. And it's important to continue to build our relationship with our tribal nations across the state. Over $19 million in tribal wildfire resilience grants have been made available to those tribal nations to assist. It's important to reflect back again that it is about partnerships. It's about partnerships to meet that mission to make California more resilient and less susceptible to wildfire. Through local, state, federal, tribal, nations, fire safe councils, nonprofits, innovators, our grantees, and you, the public, that are really going to make a difference in wildfire prevention across the state. So I'm going to impress upon our citizens and our community members in California, I need you to maintain your defensible space. I need you to have an evacuation plan ready. I need you to assist your elderly neighbors who cannot do the defensible space on their own. I need you to listen to local and state law enforcement officers when they ask you to evacuate. And you can do this by following CalFire's social media platforms or going to CalFire's website at www.fire.ca.gov. And you can also go to readyforwildfire.org. I want to thank you for assisting us in being prepared for the 2024 wildfire season. With that, I want to introduce Kara Chadwick, the Deputy Regional Forester, United States Forest Service, Pacific Southwest Region.
Thank you, Chief Tyler. Good morning, everyone. I'm honored to be here today on behalf of the USDA Forest Service to celebrate 2024 Wildfire Awareness Week with all of our partners. I want to begin by thanking all of these partners who work with us throughout the year in wildfire prevention, preparedness, and response. No one agency can do this alone. We are all in it together, and we are all working towards common goals. You hear us say this every year because this is how we must and want to operate. And I want to especially thank all of our firefighters who are on the front lines for the sacrifices they make in committing a good part of the year away from their families fighting fire. So let's talk preparedness. Being proactive instead of reactive. We are focusing on reducing fuels and restoring forest health at a greater scale and faster pace than ever before. We are getting this work done under the Forest Service's Wildfire Crisis Strategy, under which California has received close to $1 billion over the last couple years, and under the Governor's Wildfire Task Force. In February of this year, the Forest Service also launched another program, the Collaborative Wildfire Risk Reduction Program. This work will further enhance work associated with the Wildfire Crisis Strategy and promote even more new partnerships. This means an additional almost $100 million investment to support wildfire risk reduction projects across all of National Forest System lands. Last year, with wildfires generally moderated by late precipitation, The Forest Service was able to take advantage of the favorable conditions to complete approximately 320,000 acres of hazardous fuels reduction. And this year, we are already on a path to increasing those acres. This fuels reduction work under the Wildfire Crisis Strategy and under the task force is being planned and implemented in partnership with neighboring local, tribal, state, and other federal agencies. We work with these partners to prioritize hazardous fuel reduction around communities and other infrastructure across the state. And we continue to support our local and tribal partners with funding through the California Wildfire Defense Grants, providing millions of dollars for support in the development and implementation of community wildfire protection plans across the state and in Hawaii, where wildfire preparedness and community protection are on the forefront of everyone's minds after the heartbreaking events of last year. We continue to work with our interagency partners and our stakeholders in the private industry to improve our ability to respond together. Wildfires don't stop at boundaries, and so our fuel breaks shouldn't either. Last year, we signed an agreement with the National Alliance of Forest Owners to increase our capability to fight wildfire in areas of adjacent ownership with National Forest System lands during initial attack. This year, the Forest Service signed a memorandum of understanding to improve coordination with the National Alliance of Forest Owners on cross-boundary fuel breaks. For much of California, 2024 has been another above-average precipitation year, but we won't get complacent. Fire leaders in the field are meeting with local partners such as CalFire and other federal and state agencies to prepare for a coordinated wildfire response. And new firefighters continue to be brought in and trained along with our returning seasoned firefighting workforce. And then just a couple weeks ago, we had a big celebration. We announced the completion of work on Phase 1 of the Redding Air Tanker Base, making improvements that will ultimately double our previous capacity for loading retardant. Now allows us to load 5 aircraft simultaneously. This will directly benefit fire across the western states. The air attack base in Redding was originally constructed in 1968, and while small improvements have been made over the intervening years, the completion of the $28 million project is by far the largest investment into the base since its opening 56 years ago. And this is just the beginning. Further phases of the project will include replacing the original hangar and co-locating partners into one state-of-the-art facility. So we are also continuing to work closely with our tribal partners to help restore cultural burning practices on ancestral lands. Lastly, and maybe most importantly, we're celebrating Smokey Bear's 80th birthday this year. For 80 years, Smokey Bear has been a treasured symbol for preventing unwanted fire across America by teaching kids not to play with matches and adults to use caution when towing or mowing. Smokey's message is just as relevant and urgent today as it was then. Even now, over 85% of fires in California are started by people, and often during the hottest, driest part of the year when they are most difficult to control. So working together, we can prevent and be prepared for wildfires. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Tina Curry, Chief Deputy Director for Cal OES.
Well, good morning. I'll be brief, but suffice to say, just really proud to be here with all of these tremendous partners and to talk about wildfire preparedness. My name is Tina Curry. I'm the Chief Deputy Director of Operations for Cal OES, and I want to thank our colleagues at CalFire and again all the partners here for hosting us today. As another wildfire season approaches us, we are very proud to stand with our partners who are vital to all of our collective efforts to keep California communities safe. CalOES coordinates the response of state government in support of our California communities when there is any type of disaster. We regularly work with CalFire, Forest Service, the National Guard, the Conservation Corps, California Highway Patrol, and so many others to ensure that the state has a cohesive response whenever emergencies strike in California. And it's not just wildfires. Coming off of a record rain and snow season in 2023, 2024 also brought another round of heavy rain, snowfall, and severe flooding, and in fact leading to 2 presidentially declared disasters. Just this last weekend, it was still raining and snowing in California, so we truly have to be prepared for it all, and we rely on and partner with all of these agencies for all hazards. But we also know that despite all the rain and snow that we've had this year, we still must be prepared for wildfire. That's why partnerships with our federal, state, tribal, and local government organizations are so important in advance of this and any fire season. OES, through our fire and rescue program, has what we call the Fire and Rescue Mutual Aid System. This is a tremendous partnership known only here in California with our local governments, tribal governments, with equipment that over 270 pieces of equipment, fire engines, water tenders, that the state provides that are staffed by local government in what we call the mutual aid system. That comes together for wildfires, for floods, and different emergencies in California. We also have a law enforcement mutual aid program in California, and that is harnessing all of the agencies, county, local, to bring to bear in times of emergencies and to make sure that things like evacuations can occur safely and with the appropriate level of staffing in times of wildfire. But one of our most important partners are Californians. As we recognize Wildfire Preparedness Week, it's an important reminder for all Californians to make plans before an emergency happens. Sign up for Local Alert. Your county government has local alerting programs that you can opt into so you get those emergency messages for wildfires, for floods, for any type of emergency in your area. Make a plan to protect you and your family. Know how you're going to reunite with your family if there's an emergency and you're all in different places. Pack a go bag with essential items, your medications, your supplies for your pets, the things that you might need to have that you will not have time to think about if you need to leave quickly and evacuate safely. Learn different routes out of your neighborhood, and always, always heed the instructions of local officials when they issue a warning. If told to evacuate, take that seriously and take action to protect yourself. CalOES is proud, again, to work with our federal, tribal, state, and local partners to ensure Californians stay safe during another fire season and any emergency here in California. And so with that, thank you, and I'd like to introduce the Adjutant General of California National Guard, Major General Matt Beavers.
Thanks, Tina. I appreciate it. And Joe, I appreciate the opportunity to be here today to really talk about, and it's been said before and it needs to be said again, about partnerships and about a whole of government approach to getting after wildland firefighting in our state. I want to give you a sense of what the CalGuard does for the state every day relative to this work. And I'll start from space and I'll work my way down because I think it's important to understand that the work that we do is by, through, and for the fire services. We don't do anything by ourselves. We don't do anything alone. It is always through partnerships, through that whole of government approach that I talked about. First, in space. We have access to a very high-end constellation of satellites that enables our folks to detect wildfires when they're as small as an acre. And it is not foolproof, but it is the best thing going. And we've deployed that across both GACs here in California, but also throughout the state, throughout the country, and now into Canada, given their wildfire season they had a couple of years ago, hugely challenged. So we're working internationally as well. We maintain a fleet of Black Hawk helicopters, bucket equipped, to fly in support of CalFire. We maintain C-130Js that are capable of loading in the modular airborne firefighting system from our organization down at Port Hueneme, which we like to refer to as the Hollywood Guard. And those aircraft are trained and ready now. So we are very much leaning forward. The last part I want to talk about very quickly is a program that we have now called Task Force Rattlesnake. And that's 327 Cal Guardsmen and women that work every day for CalFire doing wildland fire fuels mitigation. And let me give you a little more flavor of why that's so important. And we talked about the whole of government approach and the partnerships. Of those 327 kids that work for Joe Tyler every day that come from the Cal Guard, 99 of them have joined CalFire. 99. We gave them a job. CalFire gave them a career. And I can't give you a better example of a whole of government approach, of a partnership, than that program. It is extraordinary in every respect, and it demonstrates the cooperative and very unique cooperative nature that only exists in California. It only exists in California. And with that, I'll turn that over to J.P. Patton, the director of the California Conservation Corps.
Thank you, Major General Beavers, Senator Dodd, Chief Joe Tyler, and of course the brave California and tireless firefighters. My name is J.P. Patton, and we are well aware that with the accelerating effects of climate change, the western states, including California, are in for a summer that may be hotter, drier, and potentially more prone to wildfires than many of us experienced before. And it is critical that we continuously prepare for these conditions. One of the most effective tactics to combat wildfires is the direct, on-the-ground action, and this is where the California Conservation Corps shines. No doubt, aerial resources like planes, helicopters, and large ground assets like dozers are awesome and play a crucial role in controlling wildfires. But the groundwork done by hand crews is equally vital. Our crews tirelessly dig fire breaks, lay water lines in areas that machinery can't access. I'm proud to highlight the dedication of the young adults in the California Conservation Corps, many of whom are facing their first wildfire season. Yet their enthusiasm, instinct to serve, and commitment to protect our communities are profound. Young adult Californians, from college grads to some still needing to finish high school, enroll in the CCC for a year of paid service and training, using this time as a stepping stone to frontline firefighter careers. This invaluable hands-on experience opens the door to careers with CalFire and other esteemed firefighting agencies. Right now, more than 400 Corps members are completing their basic training, ready to answer the call and respond to wildfires. And I couldn't be more proud to share that the CCC is witnessing a remarkable increase in female recruits as well, all demonstrating their ability to excel in the fire services. Now you can find these dedicated individuals across California, with 28 CCC fire crews operating out of 14 campuses in close collaboration with CalFire. 2 crews just up the road out of our Placer Center, 1 crew right behind me now, and another 2 crews an hour or so down the road at our CCC Center in Stockton. Today's Corps members are tomorrow's California firefighters. In fact, over the past 3 years, more than 500 CCC Corps members were hired by CalFire and launched their wildland firefighting careers. More than 500 and counting. They are now on their path of protecting our environment, serving California, and helping make our state an even better place for all. And the work doesn't stop there. The work done by these crews supports other key pillars of Governor Gavin Newsom's climate commitments. When not engaged in direct firefighting, CCC crews are on the front lines of restoring our forests, reducing the amounts of fire fuels in the form of overgrown brush and dead and dying trees, and increasing defensible space. This intensive work prepares our Corps members for the physical and mental rigors of firefighting, and is pivotal in meeting the state's historic climate targets, helping California communities reach greater resilience. Putting it all together, our partnership with CalFire is positioning the state of California to be even more vigilant in protecting our natural resources, our forests, and our communities, while at the same time developing meaningful futures for young Californians. No matter the challenges this season may present, the CCC fire crews will be ready to respond. Thank you, and please stay safe. And with that, I'd like to introduce Chief Mike Dust, Commander of Valley Division with the California Highway Patrol.
Thank you, Director Patton. First, I want to thank Director Tyler for inviting me to participate in today's Wildfire Preparedness Week press conference. I also want to thank all the partners that are here today. We truly are a partnership that addresses these emergencies. The CHP furthers our commitment to the communities we serve by partnering with CalFire as members of their incident management teams, otherwise known as IMTs. Since 2014, we have committed to this team partnership by embedding law enforcement liaison officers with each of the 6 IMTs across the state. This shared vision with CalFire has resulted in improved operational efficiency and effective communication with stakeholders and allied agencies to effectively mitigate these disasters. Today's event exemplifies the collaboration of public safety officials striving toward a common goal, safeguarding life and property throughout California. Public safety stands as the CHP's foremost priority. Rest assured, every decision made by our officers in the field aims to ensure your safety and prompt return home. Our training equips us to manage such emergencies, urging the public to remain calm and be mindful of emergency personnel's instructions. During wildfires, CHP officers will aid in evacuations, oversee road closures, manage traffic, patrol affected zones, and secure evacuated properties. Following the guidance of CHP personnel on site is crucial. They will designate evacuation routes based on factors such as fire location, behavior, wind patterns, terrain, and other variables. Wildfires are unpredictable and can move quickly. When evacuation becomes necessary, having a plan in place for you and your pets is important. Familiarize yourself with evacuation routes and accessible roads. Establish a meeting point for your family, and ensure your vehicle has ample fuel or electricity for reaching a safe destination. These are key steps in preparedness. In the face of imminent wildfire danger, don't wait for an evacuation order. If you sense peril, evacuate immediately. Early departure eases traffic congestion, affording more time to reach safely. As evacuation orders begin to lift in certain areas, stay vigilant for updates. We understand that you are eager to return home. Please adhere to clearance directives and exercise caution while driving. There may still be emergency crews working and road restrictions in place. Stay alert, show consideration, and avoid unnecessary risks. While the hope is that we do not have to face the threat of wildfire here in this community, preparedness remains our strongest defense for ensuring the safety of you and your loved ones. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Senator Bill Dodd.
Good morning, everybody. I'm at the point right now where just about everything's been said, but not everybody said it. But seriously, when I woke up on October 8, 2017, to the Atlas wildfires and the wildfires surrounding my district in Napa and Sonoma County, I never thought that the body of my work going forward would be all things emergency services, CalFire, utilities, insurance, prescribed fires, all the things, and early warnings, all the things that are so necessary in these type of events. And nobody could have been prepared for the climate conditions that we've had to put up with. And while I would say that probably hope and other words like hope are not necessarily, and desires aren't necessarily any great strategy, neither is confidence. But let me tell you, as we move forward, we were very fortunate last year. We hope to be fortunate again. There's another word, fortunate, that's not necessarily a great management strategy. But I'll tell you the word that I have is confidence. I have confidence in the men and women of CalFire and what they do every single day, and our OES team and our CHP team and all the state departments that we have here. When again in 2017, I don't know that any of us could have imagined this Air Force that we have assembled here today and assembled in other areas throughout the state of California, and the training and everything that's gone on to make sure that we have the tools and the ability to be prepared. I've had a number of different bills in this space. One of them is a Wildfire Technology Center here at CalFire, and another one is a Threat Integration Center that we have here at CalFire as well. And I'm telling you, these things are making all the difference. I really want to take this opportunity to say how much I appreciate all of you for being here today, but most of all of you and your colleagues throughout the state of California that do so much to keep us safe. And one point of personal privilege, Chief, the CHP, you had a unit in Napa that pulled more than 12 people off Atlas Peak during those events, and I don't know if those people would be alive today without that. So I want to extend my thanks to you and your team as well. And with that, we have Assembly Member Heath Flora, who's from the California State Assembly.
Well, thank you, Senator, and it's a privilege to be with you. I think as a young man who had the honor of serving for CalFire and TCU, that was a few years ago. But in 2007, 2008, we got dispatched to Weaverville and just went through the night, put in a hose lay. There was a spot fire across the road, and we split up our strike team, and we contained that thing. But we were getting our tails whooped, and there was an aircraft that came across and took off the head of that fire and allowed us to continue our job. And that was the moment that I realized the power of the aviation unit and what they mean to all of us working together. And so I just want to say thank you. If you would have told me in 2007, 2008 that I'd be in the State Assembly representing all of you, I said, you're out of your mind. It wasn't what I thought I was going to do with my career, but it's such an honor to be here with you today. It's such an honor to be part of wildfire preparation. And I just would say one thing on a final note. It doesn't matter the human bodies that we throw at a fire. It doesn't matter the iron that we put in the air. Until we manage our forest systems, until we allow our foresters to do their jobs, we really got to focus on this, my friends. We are coming into a time that we have to rely on experts, and we cannot allow politics to get in the way of public safety. And I appreciate all of you very much today. Thank you.
This will conclude our presentations that our speakers have available for us. We'd like to take this opportunity to open up for any questions that media have for our speakers. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
The C-130 is being available later
Thank you for your question. So in December of 23, the National Defense Authorization Act was signed to transfer the ownership of 7 C-130 aircraft to the state of California. As many know, this has been a project that's been in the works since 2013, starting with our United States Forest Service partners, and in 2018 transferred to a relationship by the United States Coast Guard, Air Force, and CalFire to continue to build the 7 C-130s from an aircraft to an air tanker. Now all 7 C-130s are sitting here at McClellan, California today. All the maintenance is done. All the markings are done. And now it's the effort of the women and men of the Aviation Management Unit in conjunction with Colson Aviation to install the retardant delivery systems inside the aircraft. Sitting behind me is Air Tanker 122, as seen on the tail. It is currently having its retardant delivery system installed in it. I suspect, I plan, and I hope that it will be in flight for testing in the latter half of 2024. It's also my hope that we will see Tanker 122 flying before the end of the year. Now, I just put a lot of weight on my aviation management personnel that are here today to make that happen for me. It is my intent, based on estimates, that all 5 of the C-130s that will be operational will be flying somewhere in 2025. Now, I said 7. 7 will be maintenance reserve and surge capacity, so the first 5 can come back into the Aviation Management Unit for maintenance. Those 5 aircraft, when deployed, will be located in Chico, here at McClellan, in Fresno, in Paso Robles, and in Ramona in San Diego County. I hope that answers your question.
So the question is, for the folks that are listening online, regarding information on alert systems and notifying residents when there's an emergency in their area.
Hi, thanks for the question. Tina Curry with CalOEA. So every county, through their county office of emergency services, has an alert system. They are different. You know, it's up to that county to decide and sort of the capabilities of what they can do. But it's important for people. A lot of them are opt-in. So it's crucial for our community members to, you know, go to their county's website, sign up for those alert systems so that they can get important information about disasters and other critical community events. We also have, you know, across the country and including here in California, wireless emergency alerts and other modalities that with which we can push. So there's a lot of redundancy in the system in order to get those generally, you know, to the cell phones. But most important thing is if you haven't done it, go to your county emergency services website or contact them and find out what your emergency alert system is and sign up for it. Thanks.
Yes, sir. So the question is, in addition to the C-130s and the night vision goggle technology, what other technology are we bringing in? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, sir. So it's important to note, as we talk about the Black Hawk helicopters here at CalFire, that transition from what was originally purchased as 12 and increased to 16, with 13 being here or in the state at this time, allows for us to surge those aircraft as well and be able to provide the maintenance that we need to those aircraft. You're right. We started a night vision goggle program that many of our local government, fire, and law enforcement agencies have been doing for some time. And again, we plan on staffing 5 of those across the state. with all of them being capable for night vision goggles. In addition to that technology, it's important to note that moving forward is important for us to be able to collect intelligence and be able to provide accurate information. So there are several ways that we are able to do that. One is called a FIRUS program. The FIRUS program was piloted out of the Orange County Fire Authority, and then through legislation was moved into the administration and management of Cal OES in cooperation with CalFire as well. That sensor aircraft, 2 across the state, are able to respond on initial attack and be able to give us perimeters and other detailed information for incident commanders on the ground as well as decision makers here in Sacramento. In addition to that, we took one of our local King Air aircraft and turned it into an intel platform as well to be able to provide persistent coverage across this space. Earlier you heard General Beavers talk about remote sensing from satellites to be able to provide accurate real-time information, and I talked about the Alert California system as well to be able to provide artificial intelligence detection of new emergencies across the state. Being able to have publicly available resources through websites showing real-time integration of the data that are coming from those sensor aircraft are equally important to be able to provide that information timely to the public, and you can do that by going to our websites. That's just a little bit of the technology that we have going on in the aviation world. Thank you.
Okay, are there any additional questions? Yeah, so the question again for the folks that are watching online is what are the technological differences between what CalFire is flying and what the National Guard is flying?
Thank you for your question. My aviation folks are going to kill me for this, but because I don't know all the right words. But here's what I will tell you. Our C-130 aircraft here that you see behind us aren't the first C-130s that have been flown in the wildland firefighting space. In fact, the models of C-130s have changed over the years. These aircraft behind us are C-130 Hercules model or H model aircraft. Now, it's important to note that our California National Guard partners and partners across the nation have been flying C-130 aircraft for some time, as well as our private partners such as Colson Aviation have been flying these private aircraft for some time. Now, the difference between the aircraft that are being built here today at CalFire and similarly the aircraft from Colson Aviation is they will hold 4,000 gallons of retardant and they will be dispersed through a controllable belly dump system as part of the retardant delivery system, whereas our military aircraft have MAFs, or mobile aviation firefighting systems, that are placed into the back of the aircraft with disbursement nozzles that come out of the back of the aircraft, both largely effective on fires. We chose the system of retardant delivery system that will dump from the belly.
Alrighty, folks, that's going to be our last question. I'd like to remind the media that are here with us today that we will make our presenters available for one-on-one interviews if you would like at the conclusion of our event. Additionally, the public, for information on new and ongoing fires which have reached 10 acres or more, they can find that information on our website at fire.ca.gov. And for tips on what you can do to prepare yourselves and your families and your homes against wildfire, please visit readyforwildfire.org. Thank you.